Wherever you are around the world, welcome to the sporting capital of the Southern Hemisphere, and rouse yourself from your winter slumbers. Hibernation's over, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Formula One in 2019, our first round of 21 races between now and December the 1st. It's the Australian Grand Prix for the 24th time at Albert Park here in Melbourne, the capital city of Australia from 1901 to 1927. And as I mentioned, it's a sporting mecca, the MCG. We have the Australian Open tennis as well, and of course the Formula One around this 3.29 mile circuit. 3 compounds of tyre to look at. The soft tyre with the red stripe, the medium tyre 9/10 of a second slower per lap with a yellow stripe, and the white striped hard tyre about 1.5 seconds slower per lap. Here's the starting grid then. Lewis Hamilton for the 8th time is on pole for an Australian Grand Prix, a 6th consecutive time of Valtteri Bottas alongside him. Sebastian Vettel has won from 3rd last year, starts 3rd today. Max Verstappen is 4th. Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari debut, a career best start in 5th alongside Romain Grosjean in 6th, and Kevin Magnussen, his teammate, just behind him. The teenager Lando Norris starts 8th. Kimi Raikkonen, 20 years older, starts 9th. Sergio Perez, first time in Q3 for him here, is 10th, ahead of the 2 Renaults of Nico HULKENBERG and Daniel Ricciardo, the Australian hero. What can he do from 12th? Alexander Albon, the Thai driver, on his debut is 13th alongside Antonio Giovinazzi. Danny Kvyat returns to Toro Rosso and is 15th, ahead of Lance Stroll, who starts 16th for the Racing Point. Pierre Gasly didn't make it out of Q1 for Red Bull, has Carlos Sainz for company, and the back row is an all-Williams back row. George Russell on debut alongside the returning Robert Kubica. Can Daniel Ricciardo score a decent points finish? Can Red Bull get in amongst them with Max Verstappen? Can Ferrari justify their pre-season favouritism? Or is it Lewis Hamilton's for the afternoon? Martin Brundle, it's great to be back. Let's answer some questions.
Well, I really hope that Mercedes don't run and hide, frankly. I mean, it's nothing against Mercedes, they're brilliant. I just hope they're not too brilliant today, for example. If we want to race, I think that Ferrari will be better in race conditions, and hopefully Red Bull will be there too. We've got drivers out of position on the grid compared to the performance of their car. Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly spring to mind in that respect, and I think we're going to see some good racing. Remember, the new front wings are 2 meters wide, up from 1.8, and they're a long way in front of the drivers, so expect a bit of carbon fibre confetti on the first lap. I mean, Mercedes said, you know, if they finish 1 and 2, brilliant. I just hope somebody gives them a run for their money this afternoon. Max Verstappen there, the lone Red Bull at the front of the grid anyway.
And finally, the cars coming onto the grid to line up. And, you know, from your experience as a driver, this is where it all starts to get very, very real, doesn't it?
I used to love this part because I felt finally under control of the weekend. It's what you do best. You are a racing driver, and all the media and all the practice and all the technical meetings and debriefings are over. You've got what you've got to go and make the best of it.
The winner of the first Grand Prix of the season has gone on to become champion that year, 34 out of the previous 69 seasons of the Formula One World Championship. And the current champion, Lewis Hamilton, starts on pole here at Albert Park this afternoon. He's got his eye on the prize. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for Formula One in 2019? It's time to get going. It's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well. He's alongside Lewis Hamilton and he's making good progress. And there back is Daniel Ricciardo, losing his front wing going into turn 1. Bottas ahead of Hamilton. Vettel ahead of Leclerc. Verstappen going around the outside. There's carnage in the midfield as the 2 Ferraris are separated by Max Verstappen in the middle. Behind them comes Romain Grosjean. Behind his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Hulkenberg started well. Daniel Ricciardo has had an absolute shocker in his home Grand Prix.
So there's a Renault front wing missing. They didn't even get past the end of the pit lane before one of these new wide front wings went on the missing list.
I think Daniel Ricciardo was squeezed a bit by Sergio Perez. You can see Perez ahead of his Racing Point teammate Lance Stroll, but it's Valtteri Bottas in the lead, ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel in 3rd. From Verstappen, Leclerc, Magnussen, Grosjean, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, and Lando Norris completing the top 10. Now, on the far side of the lane they go into the fast chicane of 11 and 12. Bottas, what a brilliant start for him.
There's a lot of debris on the pit straight. They've got about 85 seconds to get rid of any debris that will there's no sign yet of a safety car. In fact, we've now got the green flag, so the track is clear.
Riley on board with Sebastian Vettel starting third here for the second time. He won from third last year, of course. He's got some making up to do in that Ferrari as the two Mercedes power on down the main straight, and the gap between Bottas and Hamilton at the end of lap 1, exactly 1 second.
We've seen the rear wing open massively, and if you're more than 1 second ahead of the driver behind you, you're in the safe zone. He can't open his DRS. And at the moment, Bottas was a second ahead at the end of the first lap.
So Ricciardo pitting early and going onto the white stripe hard tyre to try and run towards the end of the race. A puff of smoke there from Carlos Sainz going through turn 13, and I think there's a fire at the back of Carlos Sainz's McLaren. He's pulling into the pit lane. There are flames and there's a bit more smoke, and this is the first retirement of the Australian Grand Prix, and it's Carlos Sainz in the McLaren. It's a warm day, but that McLaren and the Renault engine overheating. So Sebastian Vettel was about 4 seconds behind Max Verstappen, and Ferrari coming in early. Carew.
Yeah, indeed, Ferrari trying to do the undercut. Think back to 2 years ago.
And there is Nico HULKENBERG still behind Kevin Magnussen. You can see there why the Hasti brought Kevin Magnussen in. Had they left it any later, then Hulkenberg would have been clear, and he might be trying for an overtake now. Going around the outside of Kevin Magnussen. No love lost between these two, and he's onto the dirt. Nico HULKENBERG as Magnussen defends his place. Right, down to Caroon, Lewis Hamilton for his pit stop.
Yeah, interesting call there, guys, isn't it? They've given the guy in second place the first call on the pit stop. However, I think that was the counter Vettel. A super clean stop there.
Now Romain Grosjean makes his pit stop, and they're all pitting, Martin, a little earlier than the teams have predicted.
Something slow here, isn't it? Something's horribly slow on this pit stop. Left front one go on, not another pit stop drama for Haas in Australia. Oh no.
Well, and that is going to cost Romain Grosjean, because look, Magnussen goes through, and also Hulkenberg, and also Raikkonen as well, and there's Lando Norris ahead of Romain Grosjean. That's Alex Albon getting very close through turn 1. The Toro Rosso might get a very good getaway now out of turn 2. Remember those warm-up issues we were talking about? Albon's going to go wheel-to-wheel with Grosjean now, who's got the inside line. Albon tries round the outside. Real brave move there from the young-tired driver.
He's gone wide in turn 13, and that's exposed him also then to Hulkenberg. So that is what you're seeing boiling off the top edges and the corners of the rear wings.
To be fair to Giovinazzi, he's not stopped yet. He's carrying on for another lap. The car in front of him and the one behind have made a pit stop for fresher tyres, but Magnussen had a little look, went late on the brakes, and maybe that put the young Italian off, I don't know. Down the straight, Nico Hulkenberg's managed to catch him as well. So Giovinazzi will drop down out of the points now. Magnussen up to 9, Hulkenberg to 10.
And Giovinazzi will need to get out of the way pronto to let his teammate through. He's on a different strategy.
Yeah, great speed in the pit, still a little bit slow on the left front. Mercedes pit box actually at an angle, which caught Valtteri out, I think, a little bit. Max Verstappen, bang on the mark there. Pretty neat and tidy from what I can see. He's gone for the medium drop there.
And on board with Grosjean is sending it down the inside is Lando Norris. That time around, Giovinazzi couldn't keep the line that he wanted, and Lando Norris, about 5 laps too late, I'm sure, for his own liking, has finally got past the Alpha. Currently in 11th place, he's keeping faster cars at bay. Grosjean goes down the inside into turn 13, manages to get past the Italian in the Alpha, and he didn't want to hang around too much as well. And I wonder if Giovinazzi's going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, because he really is starting to struggle out there. No, he's going to carry on a bit longer. As out of the pits comes the Toro Rosso of Danny Kvyat, and he comes into the pits down in 11th. And we were talking a few laps ago about the gap between himself and Sergio Perez. Well, Giovinazzi's defending has really helped Kvyat to get ahead of Perez in the pit stops.
Yeah, Giovinazzi just can't get off the turns anymore, can't get off the corners, and he's a sitting duck. I don't really understand fully why they're leaving him out there, frankly. He looks like he's got all the grip of oiled oak at the moment. Bottas continues to hold the fastest lap. Only the top 10 are able to score a point by scoring the fastest lap to stop a load of people getting crazy at the end of the race.
Here he comes, he's getting closer, Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. Oh, he almost was alongside the Ferrari, but now gets a really good getaway from turn 2, and he is wheel to wheel with DRS down towards turn 3. Max Verstappen moves up into 3rd place. It was tight, but he's managed to squeeze that Red Bull through and ahead of the Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel down to 4th as they retire from this race. Daniel Ricciardo. And retiring from the race is Romain Grosjean. This time last year, the wheels came off for Haas after their pit stop. That looks like another mechanical failure, another mechanical problem. Grosjean retires from the Australian Grand Prix. Oh, and he's gone off. No, he has. Danny Kvyat off onto the gravel. Oh dear, that's down at turn 3, and that's undone all of his good work of the last few laps.
Seriously, the front tyres weren't really long. He didn't want to flat spot them. But there we go. So it's the lunge. Well, they did. As soon as it was a bona fide move, but as soon as you start applying steering lock, you put cross weight into the car across the chassis. Hello. What are you doing there? That wasn't the plan in the last 10 laps.
That's not the party, is it? We saw him do that chasing Kevin Magnussen, didn't we, last year? He got 7 second places during the course of 2018. He was second on the grid to Lewis Hamilton at the start of the Australian Grand Prix. But when he sees the checkered flag, he knows that he's the #1 at Albon Park today. It's Valtteri Bottas who wins the Australian Grand Prix. It by a distance. Lewis Hamilton battling away with Max Verstappen for second place. That scrap is still going on as they reach the penultimate corner. Sebastian Vettel ahead of Charles Leclerc by around about 5 seconds at the moment, and we'll see Hamilton cross the line as once again from pole position, it's only second for the 4th consecutive year. Hamilton finishes runner-up in Australia, and Max Verstappen for the first time ever will stand on the podium at Albon Park. What a day for Mercedes, what a day for Bottas.
Well done, Valtteri. You won the 2019 Australian Grand Prix. Great job, bravo.
How about that? Yeah! Thank you, guys.
Well, that's payback from last year, Valtteri.
Indeed. To whom it may concern you.
Valtteri, no, this is a rebound. Congrats, Toto.
Yeah, top job, Valtteri. Very well done.